National Security Council meeting for today, and the issues discussed are: one, appreciation of the fact that we are making good progress in countering insecurity and bringing, gradually restoring life in virtually every part of Nigeria to normalcy. We are happy to note that increasingly law and order is being restored, and the threat of insecurity is declining. The Council noted the development in Kogi and has ordered the reopening of the cement factory that is closed down, and has advised that all issues related to that industry or factory should be resolved in accordance with the law, legally. Nobody must take law into their hands, either as a government or an individual. We are committed to guaranteeing and providing employment for Nigerians. So whatever will in any way hinder that or impede that must be discouraged. So in that regard, the cement industry in Obajana must be reopened, and all issues that are in dispute should be resolved legally. We equally want to again reemphasize the fact that, and that is the decision of the Council, that we are committed to ensuring a transparent, free and fair electoral process in the coming elections and all the processes leading to it. So we are enjoining all political parties, individuals, and Nigerians to pursue their democratic rights and interests with decorum, as all security forces and agencies are advised to maintain the law. Now on the issue of oil theft, crude oil theft, the Council has decided that the National Security Advisor should put in place a strong team to investigate all issues relating to the discoveries of either abandoned oil pipelines or illegal crude oil pipelines, so as to determine, one, the extent of such illegalities and perpetrators of such, and put a report for the Council and the President. My other colleagues will comment on other issues that I might have omitted. Those are the issues we reviewed, discussed, and decided upon at the Council today. Thank you.
Summarized what you have decided, what you have discussed at the just concluded Security Council meeting. And in addition to that, we have also agreed on the need to fast track the process of judicial process for prosecution of terrorists, so that it will be an example to other terrorists, because you have to try to ensure justice is being done and to discourage others from becoming terrorists. And in addition to that also, like he said, a committee will be set up by the NSA in conjunction with the SGF to investigate this issue of oil bunkering because of serious economic importance, and to ensure that all those involved are brought to book. These are some of the issues that were discussed. And on the issue of Kogi, maybe he forgot to mention that an agreement has been reached between the Kogi state government and the Dangote cement in Kogi on the need to open the factory and to ensure that peace is maintained in the state. Government is committed to providing employment to its citizens rather than closing factories that will make people unemployed. These are some of the decisions we have reached, and we do hope that the parties involved will respect this agreement and will come to terms with the memorandum of understanding signed by the parties involved. This was under the supervision and the intervention of the, Mr. President through the Chief of Staff, and we are very happy to say that I think an amicable solution has been reached to bring to an end this very unfortunate development that has taken place in Kogi State.
That security agencies all have been ordered to check illegal mining all over the country. Illegal mining operations or activities in the country are ordered to be stopped, and all security and intelligence agencies are to enforce this.
Similarly, the issue of Kanu has also been raised, and Council was briefed on the state of things on the matter, and it was observed that Kanu was discharged, but he was not acquitted. So government is considering the appropriate action to be taken on the matter, and Nigerians will be notified of the position that will finally be taken on the matter in due course.
Basically, the decision taken at the council has, you actually covered it. Perhaps maybe at this point, what I may need to add is the fact that council was also briefed that a total of 101 ex-combatants were taken to Operation Safe Corridor and currently undergoing the process of de-radicalization at the center. These were ex-combatants that have been in detention for several years, some of whom have served their terms. Others were those that were waiting trial because of the long time they've been involved. And in line with the protocol, the procedure for handling anyone who has been exposed to terrorism and related offenses, the procedure for them to be taken through a process of de-radicalization. And that's the reason why they have been moved to that center. And to also indicate that the activities of the armed forces and other security agencies within the oil and gas space were also commended, but with a directive to sustain the pressure, and of course, in addition to what the Honorable Minister of Interior has indicated. And it is our resolve, our readiness to deal decisively with those who have been involved in those malfeasance. Thank you, sir.
The tribunal repeated virtually what the CDS spoke about. Probably he couldn't link it up, but the numbers are the same. The CDS spoke about 101 ex-combatants that had to be moved to de-radicalization center for de-radicalization and rehabilitation for ultimate reintegration into society. He said that some of them had been convicted, some had stayed for quite a long time in the detention. And what he didn't add is that actually there was a judicial order on them which necessitated their transfer from the detention center to the radicalization camp. So those are the only things I could add, that as a result of a legal decision on their status in detention, those 101 ex-combatants, which you want to refer to as terrorist detainees, had been moved from the custodial facility to a more appropriate camp for de-radicalization. You could expatiate further. That is how to answer that. And all other related questions on those people moved or not moved. Nobody has been released to the open society. What happened was that as a result of court order, the detainees were transferred from where they were to an appropriate center for de-radicalization, rehabilitation, and ultimate reintegration. At this of Arise News, John Bosco, that's your own issue too, and I think it's been covered. Arise News, what is it that actually you spoke about? What is it? Yes, thank you. Thank you. In the first instance, probably let's debunk one ugly insinuation and false information that we have been getting all over the place. No state government has been empowered to harm any of its security operatives or agencies. None. So the false claim that a state government is empowered by the federal government to harm his own vigilante or subnational security outfit is false, absolutely false. And in any way, and that was the question, that's the answer I want to give. There is a procedure for whoever wants to legally bring in any weapon to follow. And whoever is authorized by the law of the land to bring in legitimate ammunitions, even including the army, and I'm happy to see it is there, must go through that process. So whoever wants to import ammunition, armament, or weapon is advised to go through the legitimate process of such activity or act. That's my response, but he again could further elucidate on that. Yemi Adebayo, AIT, what do you want? $200,000 is false. False, absolutely false. It has no, you must not even say anything more than that to say that it's fake and false. I won't add mischievous, no, but it's fake and false. What the office that actually coordinated the release of those hostages is under the watch of the CDS, so I will ask him to further talk on it. But the truth is, your insinuation is false. I won't add mischievous. Gloria of channels, what is it that you want us to talk about? Gloria, what is it? Yeah. No, that wasn't what I said. What I said, let me help you. I'm now fully briefed. What I said was that the NSA, and an additional information was provided by the Minister of Police Affairs, that the office of the NSA, in conjunction with the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, SJF, should empanel a strong team that will investigate everything from illegal pipelines to vandals to thieves, and everything around and about oil theft, crude oil theft. And a report should be provided by that panel to the Security Council and the President. That was what I said. So we have ordered in the Council an intensive investigation into every aspect of oil production, illegal activities around it, from pipelines to human activities, that is costing Nigeria such a huge loss that we are recording. And that assignment is given to the constitution, the composition of that team is given to the NSA, Office of the NSA, and the SGF. Thank you. Gloria, you have heard what the council decided, and I thank you for your attention.
Yes, on the issue of that it's on, yes. What was discussed at the meeting was the decision of the court on the matter, and not the political solution to the matter. So we have not discussed that one because it was not what was reported. The political decision, the court decision was what we discussed, and I think that is what we reported. The solutions to issues of this nature can be considered provided they are not subjudice and they are within the context of the law. On the application, which has also been highlighted by the Minister of Interior, this issue of application for license to purchase firearms, I think before now, government has made it categorically clear that it has not issued license to any state government or to any organization to purchase firearms for subnational security formations. So for anybody to say that he has given timeline for the federal government to issue him license, I think he should know that there are due processes, like he mentioned, that one should follow to secure such licenses, and will advise all concerned to please follow the due process to ensure that they get the appropriate response of the federal government on the matter that is applying for.
All right. Thank you so much for the questions that have been directed to me. And the first one is from John Bosco, which in part the Minister of Interior has actually addressed. In my representation at the time, I mentioned 101 ex-combatants who, of course, had had issues with terrorism. Some were were convicted and they have served their term. Others are awaiting trial. So I have actually, more or less defined who they are, not just as ex-combatants, but those who have been associated with Boko Haram terrorism as well as Islamic State in West African province. So I just thought that that is clear enough. So they are those who were involved in Boko Haram and ISWAP activities. Now, oil bunkering, burning of the vessel, which you also asked. There are various approaches, there are various solutions to a problem, and at any time T, based on certain factors or certain considerations, available to those that are at the front lines, actions are taken based on the instructions and directives which are contained in the rule of engagement. So the burning of the vessel, it is because the thief was caught in the act. And the procedure is that if you are caught in the act, everything that you're using to undertake that criminal activity should be destroyed in situ. And that was what was done. So it is not that you can't, what investigation do you need? That you find somebody who, decided to deploy several pumping machines and has several hoses that he had deployed to a pit, that is a dugout pit, from where crude oil theft have been stored over a period, and he doesn't have papers. Besides that, he doesn't even need paper for that anyway, because it is illegal, and he was caught in the act. So the instrument of operation that he had is what was destroyed. So I think it's straightforward. Whether that's the best is a different matter entirely. But did they act in line with the rules of engagement? Yes, they did. Now, you also asked when hardened criminals from the Southeast. I'm not aware that there's anything like that. But in any case, the armed forces and other security agencies have been operating in the Southeast just like they also operate in other parts of the country. Now, they only go after criminals. In this case, of course, we know, there's nothing hidden to all of us, that IPOB, not only is it proscribed, they have a militant wing, the ESN, who, of course, have been perpetrating mayhem on the well-meaning citizens of Nigeria and the Southeast. So it is from that standpoint that everyone, all the operations that have been conducted are in that regard. But let me speak to you as an individual, and of course, by extension, the rest. When being a journalist, you are seized with the antics of IPOB, the propaganda they have employed over the years. So when they come up with a narrative that these kind of videos that you've just described, even though I have not seen it, is used for certain purposes, you should also know the line of what the trajectory is, the narrative, what it is. So it does not even need any reassessment to begin to, ask government security agencies that are pupilled by all Nigerians from all parts of the country. So will you now say that amongst the security forces that are of Igbo extraction, they will be involving, more or less killing their people or giving them a bad name because they want to, come on. There are things that as journalists you shouldn't even go to explore further because it falls in line with the propaganda of any criminal gang who want to upstage the security setting within the state. So I just thought, on the sideline, I should just give that as a counsel. Adesua, I'm glad that the Minister of Interior has also answered you. But let me add this. Again, arising from what I've just said regarding the peace of the land, we as journalists must be able to read between the lines when certain comments are made to elicit certain reactions, as opposed to the reality with respect to what the security setting is. Now, AK-47, in any case, firearms fall into two major categories for the purpose of this interaction. You have the automatic weapons and the ones that are what we may classify as non-automatic weapons, and that will, with what some of you may even have if you have the appropriate licenses, talking about the pump action, which is the very common ones, and sometimes even the ding guns that some of the hunters they use. Now, what is involved in the class that you just mentioned has to do with automatic weapons. Come on. There's no state that has been given license for that. And in fact, the sole responsibility of licensing lies with the federal government agencies, and also to be used by the government security agencies and not quasi-security forces. So you do not ask for what you do not have power to acquire. I'm not aware, I'm not, if there is any representation, it's not to my office, so I may not know, but I'm only trying to sensitize us as men and women of the fourth estate of the realm, who, of course, the general public is depending on for, information, critical information, because is to our collective interest, it's our collective good. So do not be a part of those who go to misinformed based on some inanities by a few individuals. So let us also, I'm glad that you were schooled to be able to understand these nuances. You are better placed in the position to be able to understand these issues. So please let us know what is well-intentioned and what, of course, are just mere inanities. I just thought I should use this opportunity to add to that. Again, the issue of the train, which the Minister of Interior had asked me to also, give further clearance to. Yes, of course, from my office, we coordinated the operations, both kinetic and not-kinetic, which compelled the criminals to release the remaining set of victims of the train attack. So there was no payment, there was no ransom. I believe that why you may have asked that question could have been because some individuals in the past have come up with a story which of course gave rise to some ransom that was paid, and this time around there was no ransom that was paid. It is by virtue of the very firm operational actions of our forces. All the security agencies were involved, all intelligence agencies were involved, and then which compelled them to release those 23. And then you can also go to ask those 23, both the families of the victims and even the victims themselves, as to whether ransom of any sort was paid. I think those are the ones that involve me. Thank you, sir.